What up, Soul Fam? Good afternoon. I made a morning video, but it was too fucking long. It was too effing long. I'm over at the lake, as you can see. High vibes. Dipping my toes in the water. Clear that energy. But, so I got a video to continue my journey on how I arrived as I am today. So the original video was what prison was like, and honestly, it wouldn't even serve you just hearing about it. I guess on an entertaining level, it's great, But I like to just share my life stories and just reflect back upon them and see how it was a plan that was all coming together that I couldn't see. Because you could always connect the dots looking back, but you can never connect the dots looking forward. Steve Jobs. I think. I chink. But yeah, so you could always reflect back on your life and see this pattern, whether it's a destructive pattern that you need to fix, or whether it's just an unfolding of a plan which at the time and in the moment seems really bad. The things are bad and you made bad decisions and now you got to pay for them. But really they're just experiences. And you came here to live out these experiences, and some of them aren't going to be desirable to the ego. But to the soul, oh man, the soul wants every piece of that. Every piece of that. And that's why it's important to merge your ego with your soul. And truly become like your Earth's version of your higher self, right? Because your higher self is the aspect of you that stayed in the spiritual realm to help you, to assist you along this journey. And upon awakening, you start connecting with your higher self. And eventually you merge this needy ass ego that at the time was probably a victim and all these other fucking labels, and you removed all that shit because you realized that that's all that was. It was a label that was limiting you, and you were never that. That was just an experience you had. But you fucking took on the definition and said, damn, that's me. I'm that. And you carried it around with you. And now it's time to release all that shit. So I believe in order to live a very fulfilling life, you have to learn how to, merge your ego with your higher self and become your best version, So where your ego serves you, your personality serves you. But if you guys want me to continue back on the story, I'm going to try to do it a little more quickly. But let's say I left off at boot camp, right? Got out at boot camp. Did my house arrest. I remember talking about that. And let's just, I'm out on the streets now. My first job, I was a valet driver. I was a valet driver for Silver Cross Hospital in Joliet. And it was kind of funny because, the fucking... I know the guy, the boss, he was affiliated. He had mob ties. Because my neighbor, who I used to sell cocaine to, had mob ties as well. And I had mentioned this, my boss, to him. And he goes, yeah, I fucking know, man. No, fuck, dude. This fucking cocksucking, fucking Italiano, And you could tell that motherfucker he could come suck my... And it was kind of funny, how that all merged together. But it was a valet driver. And it was funny because, I used to get yacked out. I started selling cocaine at the time. So I was just yacked out whole time, valeting cars, and I'd run out of smokes and I'd just jump in the nicest car in the lot and just take it to the gas station and just give me some smokes. Oh, I didn't give no fucks. And then, yeah, time went on, fucking so many lessons learned. I spent 1 year just snorting cocaine. And I don't know, like, it's weird because I'd hate to say that I had an addiction on it. It was like I was addicted to it. That's fucking naive. But I always had it. And it was always around, and I was around people doing it, right? And you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with. So be mindful of that. And that's like, you know, we would sell cocaine, do cocaine, fucking just party all day, every day, like 5-6 days of the week, you know? And then even the days that we weren't partying, you know, there was fucking people just flowing in and out of the apartment buying dope. And I didn't understand how we didn't cause attention. But either way, we got away with that. And I ain't got no septum anymore because I had a deviated septum from all that, which I need to fix eventually because I think it's really impairing my breathing, you know? It's like, you see how it sucks in on all sides? So I gotta be like, I gotta hold my nose open when I do my breath air or my breath work, you know? But either way, I gets it done. So time went on where I didn't, you know, get in trouble for a while. But to get back on that story, so I was doing a whole lot of cocaine. And I would be up all night tooting powder, and my nose would be burning, like, felt like someone stuck like a hot corkscrew through it. And my head would feel like it was gonna explode with pressure, and my eyes would be watering, crying, and oh, it was miserable. I remember, and I'm like, I just want to make this go away. And that this dude Sal, that was my neighbor, was a crackhead, you know, undercover crackhead. You know, he carried himself appropriately, but low key, he smoked that shit. And he was on pain pills because he had back problems. And one day, he ended up trading me some Percocet for some coke. Informational, and this is just for educational and informational, you know, storytelling. You know, learn from my lessons. Don't sell drugs. But yes, he traded me some Percocet, which is oxycodone, for some Yola. And you know, I remember one night I completely forgot about the pills, and then I remember one night I was going through one of those episodes from being on a binge, and I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna try one of them pills. Maybe that will help me. It's a painkiller, so pop that boy. Man, 25-30 minutes later, I was on cloud 9. I'm like, damn, my head, the swelling went down, my eyes stopped watering, my nose didn't hurt. Man, I felt like I didn't do nothing. I was like, damn, well, we were playing the video games, we were fucking ripping bongs. I was like, man, that's a easy way out right there. But little did I know that was something, that was an addiction coming. And you know, I slowly just started using more and more. You know how it goes, you know. First you're a weekend warrior, or however it goes, you know, you just do it one when you need it, and then you're like, man, that shit feels good, man. I want to feel like that today. Bam, I want to feel like that tomorrow. I want to feel like that the next day. Damn, I just want to feel like that. And then before you know it, bam, you strung out. You don't even know you got to have it till you go without. The next thing you know, you cold sweating, you fucking diarrheaing all over yourself, and all types of shit. That's why I don't understand how this syrup sipping shit out in the rap community is like the cool thing. Like, you're a pharmaceutical dope fiend, and you know damn well the moment you ain't got your codeine syrup, you're doo-dooing on yourself. Oh, doo-doo brown. Feeling like doo-doo. But either way, if that's your version of cool, that's cool. So, you know, I developed a habit, and it, you know, I wasn't happy with it, and I just wanted to get away. And my sister was staying out in Texas, and I mean, I'm just kind of jumping story. Like, I could even get into further detail about that dude Sal. You know how he was connected. He was connected to, you know, let's just say he had mob ties somehow, some way. But a majority of the mob, if you guys are familiar in Chicago, is kind of dead ass as far as like, you know, the old families. They all got locked up and shit. They were all telling on each other. So I heard. Wikipedia. Anyways, and he was like, man, y'all move a lot of shit, man. I'll be seeing that house. He's like, I'm gonna talk to my family, man. They got weight, man. I'm gonna see if they'll let you hold something, like a key. And we're like, yeah, right. Dude, they ain't gonna make this happen. So there was this location downtown, and man, I really can't get too many details down there because I don't know what's going down there still. But you know, because I can name a specific location, but you know that would just bring heat to them, and I'm not about that. But let's just say it's downtown, and it's a very nice place, and very prestige people go there, like Reverend Jesse Jackson Jr., guys like political guys, because it's a nice place. But either way, my phone's about to, I got 15%, and it's 11:18 on the counter. So yeah, but so we get there, shit didn't work out. Like when we got there, they were kind of sketchy of us for some reason, because I think we weren't Hispanic, because everybody who else was just coming in there was Hispanic, and they just ended up showing us some weed, be like, we got this, you think you can move that? And we're like, we didn't come here for that, came here for the other. And he's like, yeah, but it's kind of sketchy, you know, and and come back tomorrow. And we came back tomorrow, dead ass. It didn't work out. We just said whatever, it wasn't meant to be. And fucking, they were into all types of shit, man. Like they all ended up getting indicted because they had these loans out. Guy, one of the head honchos owned a skyscraper downtown, and he took this loan out. It's like, let's just say I don't know, $100 million loan to renovate this skyscraper, condominiums and stuff. And he, like I said, they all got popped off. You know, I guess they got too greedy. You know, too many hands in the honey jar, and they all got indicted on that. And I knew it was legit because, I mean, one time this dude owed me like $1,000 from just me kind of just being lenient and fucking fronting him. And he came to pay me one day, and he had two bands on him like this, $10,000 a piece. And I mean, that's just $20,000, but you know, he told me the whole scheme and everything, and it made sense. So, but you know, so I just kind of just like did my thing throughout, you know, well, I'm sorry, after that whole scene of the whole, you know, like I said, pretty much left that circle, and I kind of started playing around with the pain pills, and then I kind of got a habit on them. But I wasn't doing this. That was dead ass. And that habit ended up turning into like Oxycontins. I'm sure y'all familiar with that shit. And you know, before it progressed, I was just like, it's getting too much, and I just need to get away from this shit. So I went out to my sister's, my sister who had passed away recently from actual heroin overdose. I think it was actually fentanyl, but so I go out there for a little bit, you know, still partying, but you know, just, you know, party drugs like weed, alcohol, and like ecstasy or something, right? Oh, I think there was some, they were too powder, but I wasn't really getting down. Or was I? I don't remember. But fucking knowing me, they were fucking doing some shit. Like, this is my journey. You know, this is where I came from. And then, you know, the person that I'm becoming today. So it's like, you know, I don't fear my past. You know, my past made me who I am today. And that's what this is why I'm sharing this with y'all, because it's like, embrace that shit. Because if you coward and run from it, you know, it's always gonna haunt you. The more you know, the more see-through you are, like the more that, you know, you just don't give a fuck, and just, you know, if you have an insecurity and you put it out there, it no longer becomes an insecurity, you know? You've let it out. If you fear something, you know, vocalize your fears and then say, I'm not that, you know, and move into it. But anyways, so we did some partying up there, and then my sister from Washington, she just started moving up here. My sister, who I'm here now with, she's like, yeah, you should come up here. There's so many opportunities, yada yada, you know. And I'm like, yeah, fuck, man, I want to check out Washington, you know. I want to see what it's like. And Lindsay was like, I don't think you should do that. She's like, I mean, I'll get you your ticket, but I really think you should stay. And I was just like, yeah, but Texas is so lame, you know. And she's like, yeah, I know. But I ended up going. And, you know, little did I know, everybody that was out here that I was, you know, coming to was spun out on speed, on crystal. And I didn't even know that. But like I said, I was still using, you know, so it wasn't nothing like serious. It's just a new different, it's a new game, you know. It's just another side of the coin. And started messing around a little bit, and it would have progressed, I'm not gonna lie, but by the grace of God. And this is like one of those lessons, like if he didn't step in, I probably wouldn't be here today telling you this story. I'd be fucking strung out, missing my grill, smoked out, sucked up, you know. But my old co-defendant from the music shop, from that last burglary where we got caught and I did boot camp, I was now we're out in Washington, you know. That's like almost like that's like family to me, you know. And it's family. And sure enough, we fucking go out one night on some foolish shit and end up somehow burglarizing a fucking place of business like a dumbass. We were walking through an alley, and I said, oh, look at this, you want to hit one for old time's sake? And I tapped my elbow on this glass window, and it shatters. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I didn't even use no pressure, it just completely busted out. And then it was kind of weird because I'll spread those details. I was gonna tell you that, like, for some reason at the same time we had this sudden urge to take a shit, and we had to go, and maybe that was telling us to run home, like, get the fuck on, and that was like our bodies getting us to like hurry up, get to a bathroom. But all we did was just like, oh man, it's business time, and we just fucking squatted down in the alley and handled it. And then I ripped my Dago, my tank top off, and, you know, ripped it in half so we could wipe our ass. Oh, it's all fucked up. But, you know, now that I think about it, that was probably like our bodies, you know, and our energy, like saying, yo, get the fuck on. No, you guys aren't headed in the right direction. But either way, we went through with it, and it ended up being like some RV place, and there was no money in there. But what we ended up stealing a whole bunch of merch and throwing it inside the van. This van that we found in there that had the keys in there, and we just popped the garage open and we fucking took off, you know. And, you know, buddy that I was with didn't want to close the garage because he just wanted to get the fuck out of there, you know, just in case a cop rolled by, because it was on a busy road. And that's really what burnt us, because they seen that garage open and they were like, hey, you know, someone new was like, hey, your place of business is open. And they're like, what? You know, and went down there, and then they realized that the vehicle was stolen, and they reported it stolen. And, you know, we were driving around looking for ways to off the merch so we can get rid of the vehicle or whatnot. And we couldn't find anybody, so we ended up pulling into the alley, or into this street, into this neighborhood somewhere in Pierce County. And he was like, man, we're just gonna be here, man. I'm not gonna drive around. I'm fucking been drinking. We got stolen merch, stolen car. Fuck that. I'm like, all right, man. And we were in a camper van, so I just went up on the top right here and took a nap, and woke up to fucking flashlights in my face, telling me to get out the car and put my hands up, and I'm like, oh fuck. So we're booked, you know, and before I know it, I got indictment papers for class 2 or PSP class 1 and 2, possession of stolen property for a vehicle, and then however much in merchandise, which I think it was like $10,000. But so I'm in county jail again with the dude, my old co-defendant, my rappy, and because I have a background, I ended up having to go to prison on it. He didn't, because he only had like 1 point or 2 points, which is 2 felonies on his background. He didn't. So he ended up doing like 3 months, like an additional like 30 days, and went home. I ended up having to do 13 months in a state correctional facility because I had like 7 felonies already. But so I ended up taking the time, and man, I'm glad I did, because it saved me from a fucking meth addiction, because I guarantee you I would have been strung out on that shit if that didn't happen. And the beauty that I seen and experienced, you know, I ended up going down to Shelton, Washington for their receiving, and you sit down there for a few months, and then they rate your security level, and then they send you off. And I went to OCC because you get to recommend a few places you want to go to, and OCC was like the first one I wanted, and I went there, and it was amazing. I mean, the camp that you're there is like barely no gates, open security pretty much, because you're out in the fucking nowhere. You're in the middle of the the whole rainforest. And it's like a freaking Snow White story, because like even the deer, they'll come up to you and they'll just eat an apple out your hand. A raccoon will just grab a freaking hard-boiled egg from your hand. You know, rabbits freaking eating lettuce. It's like you could just hand feed them. It's like a freaking, I don't know. It's definitely not prison, you know. And then, so I ended up doing about 12 and a half months or something and getting released. I only get released. I didn't talk to my sister the whole time until the last 2 weeks. I got released, and then I stayed with her. She was still on that shit. I wasn't fucking around at the time because I had this thing I wanted to do, this clinical study where I had to keep a clean system in order to, you know, make some money, some resources. So I ended up following through with that and staying clean and making like, I don't know, like $1,200. And then I ended up going to Illinois. And I knew, you know, from talking to individuals, they were all strung out on heroin. They were all heroin addicts. But I thought I was strong and I could steer clear, you know, and, you know, let them do what they do. And I'll just, you know, not involve myself. But ended up, sure enough, fucking hanging around with the wrong squad and getting back into it. And next thing you know, I'm in it, you know. Fucking strung out dope fiend. Tooting it. I started off tooting it, but eventually, like 2 years after that, I started banging it. And then I was banging it for, I don't know, 18 months, 2 years, something like that. And, yeah, that shit sucks, man. That shit sitting there, fucking veins all blown out, and you're fucking strung out just trying to get a fix, but you can't find a vein. It is the most sickest thing. And you're fucking covered with blood and pin pricks because you done pricked yourself all over the place. I mean, I'm fucking pretty open about the shit that I've experienced. And I don't shame from the things that I've done to myself, because I realize that it wasn't me, you know? And like, I mean, I even went as far as fucking injected heroin into my penis because I didn't have a vein where I could find on my body. And I had plenty of veins on my penis. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna give it a try. And sure enough, it worked, you know? And that's some sick shit. That's some sick ass shit, man. You know, and this is common. This is common shit in the dope fiend land, you know, the land of dope fiends. So, you know, no matter where you are in your journey, just give yourself credit for how far you've came, you know? Because I'm difficult on myself, you know? I see how difficult I am on others, and I'm like, damn, I must be even harder on myself, and which I am. But it doesn't seem to be working. Because sometimes I still make the same fuck decisions when it comes to my diet, when it comes to anything, you know? As far as like things I just like know that I can control. There's no reason why I shouldn't be able to control this, and it's for my highest good, my health, my wellness, you know? If I can control the things that I choose to spend my awareness on, then I could freaking control the things I put in my body, you know? And I need to be more mindful of that. But like I said, I mean, when that lesson's learned, it will be learned. But, so, strung out dope fiend, fucking banging dope in his dick. Fucking just a prize. I'm a fucking prize, babe. You know? And, you know, that's life. You know, look at, I don't know if you can see that. I got an abscess there. If you can see that. There's one right, see, I can't see. There's one right there, a scar right there. And then, you know, one right here somewhere. 3 times on one arm. Disgustingest thing ever. Ever. Look up an abscess from an infected injection or something. And then you'll see what the fuck that is. But, yeah, so that was like my whole struggle. And every day, like, after it became too much, every day I prayed for a way out. Like, God, just get me out of this. I don't know how. I'm powerless. I really don't know. I'm like, so I just put it in your hands, you know? And every day I remember waking up in the morning, knowing what my day was going to entail and just wanting something different, but knowing that I'm fucking just trapped. And, you know, that persisted. And then, you know, time went on. Freaking, you know, I could tell shit was coming to a close, you know. I'm fucking missing rent. People are disappearing around me, going to jail. Fucking everything's crumbling. I start making even worse decisions, so I get on Craigslist and I kind of know how to go fishing for like scamming shit. Like, that's what you call it, fishing. And you could pull in bad check. Well, you know, just fraudulent checks. You know, through Craigslist by certain things. I won't get into it because I don't want to put anybody on to something where they just feel like, oh, I'm going to try this. You know? But so next thing you know, I ended up doing what I did, and before you know it, I had like 4 or 5 checks on my doorstep for like $1,500, $2,500, $1,000, $500, and I'm like, So I ended up burning my bank account with one or 2 of them. I think 2. I ended up burning my bank account with 2 of them. I had 2 left, and I was like, I should burn these motherfuckers because I feel like something troubling is going to come from them. Something troubling was going to come from them, but I put it off. And that's where I went wrong. But either way, that's for another story. If you guys want me to continue on, I will, but like I said, I mean, I want this to serve you. I just don't want it to be entertaining, you know? And, you know, it's just an experience. That's not who I am, you know? And your experiences aren't who you are. So it's time we release all this shit from the past, you know? Sometimes I don't really like talking about it, but I mean, if it's to serve a purpose and to be of service, then hey, that will be done. But either way, share, subscribe. You know, not too many people will sit there and watch a 30-minute video, but I know there's some people out there that just like hearing this type of shit, so I got you. But either way, just keep continuing on that path, loving thyself. Have a blessed day.